So guys, today we are doing a base video. We are not going to show the progress of building this base, but we are going to show you the result we have right now, where it's located, the things we like about the area where we are, the materials we use. We tried to do the best we could with what we have right now in the early access in the game. So without further ado, here it is, our base. Now, the base, even if it looks pretty much done, is not fully done because we are still missing some blueprints we wanted to implement. Of course, the game is not finished yet, so it introduced new materials, new floors, new stairs, or even the zip line. We would like to implement that in this base as well. We are going to walk around to show you the structure. Instead of doing the typical square / rectangle simple base, we decided to do something a tiny bit different. We didn't do the curved walls, but we have two main towers basically. I think if I'm not mistaken, it's an octagon shape in each side, identical. And then in the middle, we join with a staircase, and there's a area on the top that is connecting between the two towers.
Kind of a catwalk in the middle.
Yeah. We thought this shape was different. We wanted to try to have some challenge building the base, and we did this completely on survival. We are non-creative. We couldn't fly. We had to gather materials. We had to fight the insects what we were trying to build. So all this was done 100% during regular gameplay.
Having this shape, it would have been kind of cool to do it fully circle, and you can, but we like the idea of having it have straight edges still. So it is circle, but it's not a true circle. It's an octagon, but you still have straight walls where you can put things against it. So looking back on it, at the time we didn't have the ability to we didn't have the blueprint for the circle walls and the circle roof. So but we wouldn't have, I don't think we would have changed it anyways. I'm happy with it because we usually do a rectangle or a square, the easiest build, shape. I don't know. This was a little more ambitious for us. We don't usually do something like this, and maybe it doesn't look hard to you. I know there's incredible builds out there, very creative people that do really hard things, but in survival,
for us it was bad.
There was some things here that were actually kind of difficult, but yeah, I'm happy with how it turned out.
Yeah, speaking of what Mr. is saying, like he said, there's people out there that are really creative, really good at doing this, but we are not. And not be able to be creative, be able to fly, to deal with the roof, get some distance so you can see what you're doing. We had to use the scaffolding. I fell like a million times from the top of the roof. I don't know how I didn't kill myself in the process. We were just trying to do something that required a tiny bit more challenge, but at the same time simple enough that it wasn't too hard to complete. Because sometimes, for me at least, I don't know if this is your case, mister, if the shape is too complicated, I struggle putting the roof. And I didn't want to do a flat roof.
It's kind of weird how it came to, fruition. Because it actually started, we had been looking for places, we'll show you on the map where we are and why we did it that way, but we came across this area when we were out looking, we were scouting for areas to be, and we came across this nice little, there was nothing here. We didn't have to clean out really any grass, there was nothing. It's kind of a lowered, recessed in part, completely flat. So you didn't have to have weird spots in the game where it wouldn't, there was nothing that said it was obstructed when you were trying to put it down. So we put down the rock foundation here, but it actually started out as a rectangle. It started out as a rectangle, but you were putting these curved corners on it. And then we were thinking, man, if we did a weird shape over here, you had just enough to make it even on both sides and then have this connect. And I thought it'd be kind of cool if we did like kind of a tower thingy. And that's kind of how it came to be. But the foundation, you decided you liked the rock foundation. And then I thought it was kind of cool to have, this stem foundation over it. You could put a wall over it to cover it.
To hide it,
was really cool to have it be exposed that way. So that's kind of how we decided to do the foundation part of the structure.
If you're curious about which location this is, we are going to open the map and show you. We are by the ice cream cart. All the way.
It's that really big tree by the ice cream cart.
Yeah, we had the big tree here, which, by the way, there's a mega mean polar there. Maybe you didn't know that. But yeah, we are really close to the ice cream cart. And the reason for this is because you will think, oh, you're in the bottom of the map. Actually, if you pay attention, all this blackout area here below us seems to be part of the future map. So where we are, even if it looks like right now to be in the bottom right, is technically going to be a tiny bit like in the middle
It's
in the
pretty
future.
centralized where I think, yeah, for how I think they're going to fill out the map, it feels like it could be pretty centralized. Not right now, but eventually. So we like that idea. We had played around with the idea of Pine Hill. There were some really big rocks. There were some really big roots that were really high up, and you could kind of see over the park. It was really pretty. It looked really cool, but it wasn't super practical. Yes, you can build up to it and whatever, but it was really annoying to get there. And it's clear in the corner, and there were some materials that I didn't that weren't really close by. And then by the statue, do you see where it says there's a red marker there? It says Northern End or
Yeah.
Northern Ascent. Okay, we
Yes.
were
We were
kind of
there.
in that corner up against that curved wall to go up to the statue. That was a great spot, but it it didn't have like any sap. There was no acorn. There wasn't a ton of dry grass. There wasn't the materials weren't great there. But when the ORC waves came, they got glitched in the walls, and you never really had to fight them. So that was like the biggest positive to that side. We actually had a base there on our first build, but then you did a video where we got glitched out with the bee and we couldn't progress. So we decided not to go there. And then you found this spot. We were walking around and you thought this looked like a really good spot, and I agreed. It was really good. So
Yeah, this spot, the thing I liked is like you mentioned earlier, there was where the house is sitting was completely empty. I felt like it was like the perfect place to put a base. It was big enough to make a good sized base and you didn't have to clean that much.
I think they said, now I don't know how it's going to work, and I don't really think we're going to move, but they did talk about moving bases. The problem is, will it fit when you try to put it down somewhere else? So we were really trying to find a place that no matter what, we were going to be pretty happy with it. And it just felt like they put this spot to have a base built. Everything we need is here. The only thing that is kind of annoying for us is acorn.
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay, there's a couple things. Going for the acorn, because you have to go to the entrance to get the acorn, which is kind of annoying. And the other annoying thing, there's two more.
It's kind of
The
close
ice
though, the
cream cart,
entrance.
yes, it is. But the ice cream cart positioning where that chill is kind of annoying because you have to go around it, and the mount can't go through it, I don't believe. And if you're starting in the early game, you get attacked some here.
Yeah, I would not say that this area is for beginners, but I would not say it's in game either. I think if you have an armor that is decent, like the ant armor, and you have upgraded it once or twice, and you have an okay weapon that is not the first spear you craft in game, I think you can be completely okay here. Sometimes we get attacked by Scorpion, another Scorpion, not the junior, like the big one.
He
And
shows up often.
the good thing about it though, there's a mutator you can get if you kill creatures that are venom. So he's literally coming to us and we
Yeah.
are killing him. So I feel like that is actually good, and we needed the parts
So
because the big one gives you the pincer and the stinger, I think, and you need that for the shower. So even if it's an area that is a bit more difficult to survive, I think it's a win-win for me.
the wolf spider shows up a decent amount, but like you were mentioning, you need those parts anyway, so it's kind of a passive way to farm him. We're here building or we're at the base, he shows up, farm him. I don't have to go look for him. He just shows up here after a while. But other than that, there really isn't too many things. There's a lot of clay, clover, like all the materials are with in a pretty short radius from where we're built. So that was another reason why we chose this spot.
And the wolf spider, I have this conspiracy theory about him. He used to show up in the other side where we were before too. So I feel like he tries to show up wherever the player is. I don't even think it's in a specific place that much. But maybe that's just me. Maybe it's just my paranoia. And now it's time to go in and show you what we have. Like I said, we don't have all the blueprints unlocked, so we are going to add more stuff in the future. We know they're going to add way more stuff that you can put inside the bases. So here's the entrance. We have a double entrance in each side. Well, I can't even open that. Can you open that for me? I'm so laggy today. Okay, here we have the kitchen. Basically, we cook our food here. We can make our smoothies. All in the first part of the base here. And opposite to us, across, we have the respawn area in the bedroom with our armors. We can swap armors. Here we have some more armor area.
Now it goes up the same either way you go. It doesn't make any
Yeah,
difference what side you go up.
we have the spiral staircases too, but I kind of like this. We have
Well,
an
we
area here.
didn't. When we built this, we did not have the spiral staircase. And to be honest with you, yeah, we're probably not utilizing our space as well as we could, but I don't think I'd change it. I like the way our stairs are. I actually like them. I like how this goes up like this. And they were a pain to do. They were a huge pain.
Yeah,
It
it
doesn't look
was.
hard, but it took forever to decide how to do it to maximize our space without using. So it looked good, it was efficient, and it didn't have to like use the spiral. The spiral would have been better, but we didn't have it at the time, and I'm still happy with how they turned out.
Now we keep going up. Again, you can go up whatever place you want. It's identical like Mr. was saying. And now we have here our crafting area with all the materials in different chests or boxes. And then opposite to us, we have another crafting area where we have all the materials for the bags, for the armors and everything.
And then you have your tiny little balcony.
Yeah, this is just aesthetic. Yeah, probably you can make a more efficient base where you have everything close to each other because in this game, luckily, if you're in the crafting table, if the chest is close enough, it will automatically grab it from the chest so you don't have to have it in your inventory.
And we have very high ceilings. We did that just so
Yeah.
the building was bigger, and we might change the roof and go a different direction. You can customize it and build it differently, but yeah, we have very, very high ceilings in here because it makes it feel bigger. And surprisingly, one thing that's weird is the structure I think is really big, but it doesn't feel that big when you're inside. It really doesn't. This room feels big because of the high ceilings, but honestly, it really isn't that big.
Another reason we wanted to do the high ceilings, you can keep, if I get rid of these windows there, you can keep increasing the amount of, oh, we're going to get attacked. The amount of like chests you can put here, so we can new materials and stuff here. There's a new area still. There's a ladder we can use to reach the chest easier. So I feel like it's something that you can keep upgrading even if the game is not fully released yet.
It needs some stuff. We want to add some more light to the outside of it because it's kind of dark. The front of the entrance is lit up pretty good with the purple light, but we want to put some more lights on the front and that flat piece on the bottom and the top, kind of by the balcony on both sides of the towers. The roof, we did finally, because at the time we only had the clover roof, we do want to switch out the roof eventually, but the roof was like, it looks really easy, and it should have been easy, but that was a pain. That was a
That was a
huge pain.
nightmare.
At one point, you were like building it and like trying to fill the gaps with the corner pieces, the curved corner pieces. It didn't look good. It just didn't look good or work right, and I didn't know what to do either. So we decided to add, I think it's called the gable. We added that on both sides to straighten it out, to not have to use so many curved pieces then.
Yeah.
That really cleaned up the roof. But the roof was one of the harder parts for sure. Partly because, like we said, we didn't really have a blueprint. We kind of did after a while, but we didn't really know what we wanted to do. That was part of the battle for sure. And then the stairs. The stairs were just kind of hard too.
I think the biggest issue with building in survival and non-creative is that you can reach areas as easily. You have to do the scaffolding, you have to be climbing, a lot of times you fall, you can just sit on one corner and do stuff because if your character's in the way, you don't put the piece down. So I think having to build this in survival, especially like you said, I would like to put lights outside, but I wasn't planning on that when I was building, when we were building. So now we had to
So
go
now going
back, build all the scaffolding so we can reach and put the lighting. So I think that is the biggest challenge when you're doing survival. And when you destroy recycled parts in this, it feels like you recover all the materials. But one big issue we had is that
It
a lot of
clipped.
this, yeah, the clipping in this game, it happened in the first game too, but in this one it's even worse. You lose materials because they go through the foundation, because they go through the ground, they get stuck in some part of the construction you can reach. It is a tiny bit of a nightmare. I think that was my biggest issue. So guys, that was everything for today's video. We are curious to know what you're doing in the game. You're just playing creative and just using that to make amazing vases. I know people like building on the tree. They did that a lot in the first game. Let us know down in the comment what you prefer, what materials you use, if you just do something simple to survive and be able to play the story, or you spend the longest in the game building your base.